that'd be nice.
Every layer.
And I need to know who to file my complaints with.
Yeah, right. It's an interesting, good questions around, like what HR policies apply to council as well, because just because you're kind of, doesn't mean we get to get rid of it, like we could an employee, right?
Right.
You're an elected official and you get to be a day home if you want to be, you know,
Yeah.
but at the same time, you can't
Merritt Island,
have a hostile.
32952,
You know,
East Coast. It's the place to be. I'm not gonna lie. But you could be on an island in we're not in the flood zone, but we're close. The Atlantic side, surf.
Yeah, people get mad at you for any reason. Yeah, lunchtime.
Robert's wanted us to get started early.
Because I'm a building association.
No idea.
Had no idea
It's
why.
one thing for citizen, for
Oh, I was born in Cape Coral.
Answer this all.
Yeah, my brother-in-law lives in Cape
Well
Coral.
before 6.
Yeah. You're not Cape Coral.
one of the ramifications, that's where it's functions, or can't really kick you out of office for much, you know?
Yeah, we deal with that.
Yeah, that's where they have the Everglides, I think. They have a hockey team. Yeah.
What is the
Yeah,
threshold?
yeah, they play at the Hurt Center or something.
There's a term, I can't remember what it is.
I know Florida. Yeah, so just
Might
wait.
be drunk once in a while,
I know.
but not all the time.
Yeah.
There's actually,
Must be, well, obviously, yeah. Right, yeah, dumb question.
The Vikings are a team.
Kevin really got his motor and battery still
oh,
on
it is off his game.
That's sports.
I love it.
Gas.
Just really stuck out.
You're missing out.
Yeah. No, I meant like they were played yesterday. Oh.
Did they play? They had like, there was a game of the week. They didn't beat the Lions, they destroyed the Lions.
So that, yeah, so that council member was showing up in the ground to every meeting.
I wanna say there's a statute of
Hello.
My seat.
Yep.
It's okay, Dave. I won't play.
You're way more here. Oh my gosh. He's got a whole other environment in the office.
This is Kevlar.
I met him.
So we're good. Tend to do that just in case. I don't think so.
Yeah.
He also told me he's like, if someone just comes
That makes
and
sense.
we can just duck. And I was like,
They both.
I was like, I work
Yeah,
for a
I'm one of
public
those guys.
transit agency. Yeah.
My neighbor had a gas can store. and
Oh my God.
That would never be.
a whole bunch of them on the
He's like,
way.
do I need to be concerned?
What did I sign up for here?
Every time, I'll show you what you do. I made it. Lock your battery down, they can't steal unless they destroy it. Yeah, it's really easy to do. And you put a padlock on it, bolt it to the deck, and you can't get it out.
tell me that, then I'll,
You can do it. You can do it. If I can do it, you can do it.
I figure I'll just take my chances. Old enough to take my battery.
What I've learned so far is any type of motion sensor like that, so that if you have it covered,
I know, man. Super slow. Yeah.
holy, right in your boat. They actually, they were conscientious thieves. They actually lifted up the changing room,
I appreciate that.
took the cover out, took my life jackets out, took
I
the
do
needles
also
out,
wanna finish
took the
the
battery out,
conversation
put the
we were
battery
having
box back, put the bolts
earlier.
back, put everything back in, shut it down and left.
Inside baseball,
So I didn't, no, it was not. But I found out why.
11 to count.
If it's under 500, it's a misdemeanor. 500 to 999, it's a gross misdemeanor. Over 1,000, it's a felony, you go to jail. So if they cut the cables and stuff like that, the cost to rewire that's over $1,000.
All the
Conscientious
effort
thieves.
thieves put in that.
And what do you do with the battery?
Right.
So they go trade them in for the cores. That's $15.
My computer's like,
Oh my gosh. Not worth it. No.
Flip burgers for an hour, $15.
Right.
They would have to work then.
I had it up earlier.
Yeah.
Let's have someone tell them what to do.
Yeah.
Calls, restart.
Try resetting it.
Gosh.
I didn't say that.
Do you want me to grab the binder, the packet, so you can keep up?
It's just restart, right?
Yeah.
I got it right here.
Let's see if that works.
Ooh, October 25th.
She said she
Do we know where that's gonna be?
That doesn't
Further ado.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Forest Lake somewhere, so.
All right, with it being right at 6 o'clock, we'll get the meeting started this evening. And Jolene, can you please take a roll?
Council members Erickson,
Present.
Larson,
Here.
Miller,
Here.
Valento,
Here.
Mayor Roberts.
Here. And if you're able, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. All right, council, we have an agenda in front of us this evening. Anyone willing to make a motion to approve?
Also move.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We have an agenda. Item 5, awards, recognitions, and presentations. Council, we have a couple of resolutions in front of us recognizing, the first one here recognizing the volunteers that helped with the corn feed that we had 2 weeks ago at Lakeside Park as the end of the Arts in the Park season. So I'm just going to name off and recognize those that helped. These members here are part of our Parks and Recreation Commission: Karen Moorhead, Sue Herdina, Melissa Lundmark, and Tim Gary. And then members of our beautification group: Susan Young, Judy Hontosh, Jerry Danager, Kathy Moorhead, Dee Dee Lickscheidel, and Lucy Schwartz. So we appreciate that help. It was a great evening, always a fun night. I think it was 1,100 ears of corn, right, Dave, that was given out. So just a great time. So if anyone is willing to make a motion on this resolution.
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion, a second.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The next resolution is accepting donations to the Veterans Memorial. We had a groundbreaking on Thursday for the Veterans Memorial project down at Lakeside Park. Had a great turnout. We had Senator Housley there and another senator, which I fail to remember that person's name, that was very vital, that was present as well as Bob Detmer, who was very instrumental in this project and getting state funding. So we thank all of them for attending. And I would like to thank the following businesses for the recent donation. Now, this is just a group of many that have donated since the beginning of this project. So this group that we're recognizing this evening is Winnick Supply, Morgan Stanley, Mary Duplessis Cheetah, Paul Richard Ashback, Culvers of Forest Lake, Jim Cluck, Tomco Carpet, Marilyn Saunders, Connexus Energy, the Lions Club, Grand Casino Hinckley, the American Legion Auxiliary, Gary and Evelyn Lee, the Muskie Company Foundation, Whittis Smith Noting and Associates. We appreciate these donations. Again, the project has got started here. Looking forward to completion later next year. And with that, I would be open to anyone make a nomination or to vote for what am I saying? A motion for this.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution number 0908-2502, a resolution thanking groups, businesses, and the general public for their donations towards the Veterans Memorial Project.
All right, we have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next item is open forum. This is an opportunity for anyone to speak about any city issue related to the city. You have up to 3 minutes to speak. Please give us your name and address as you approach. It doesn't look like there's anyone here this evening. So we will go on to a consent agenda. We have an agenda in front of us. Council, is anyone interested in making a motion to approve tonight's consent agenda?
Make a motion to approve the agenda items, A through D.
D or E?
E?
E.
I'm sorry. sorry, E. I'm sorry, A through E.
All right, we have motions, or a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Consent agenda pass. Our first item, 8A, Hidden Creek addition amendment request. Abby?
Thank you, Mayor Roberts, members of the council. In April of this year, the city approved the third phase of Hidden Creek, a multi-phase residential subdivision. The development agreement with Headwaters Land Group was approved at that same time. Included as a provision of that development agreement was the city would not release building permits until certain development approvals or development milestones had been made. To date, the milestones have not been met, but the developer has come to the city asking for a development agreement amendment, which would allow for the release of 2 building permits for early starts. As noted in my staff report, in order for us to release them, they would need to have at least the base course for the development and utilities put in, and neither of these lots have all of those or meet all of those requirements, because we want to see all of the mass grading done for the site before we move forward. I did put in my staff report, we recommend that we would move to deny the amendment request. I will note the developer acknowledges that there are some grading challenges on the site and asked to table this for 2 more weeks. But it's up to the council if you want to move forward with an action tonight or table it for a later date.
Mr. Mayor, if I just might add, staff's recommendation to deny here is based on the fact that the conditions on the ground really aren't as important as the conditions being proposed in the development agreement amendment. And we don't need to even visit the site necessarily to understand the conditions that are being proposed. We can all imagine what those conditions are, and that won't change 2 weeks from now, what's being proposed. And so staff's recommendation will continue to be to deny this request, just because we feel strongly that the conditions laid out in the initial development agreement are very favorable and fair to having early start building permits. And I think Abby does a nice job in her memo here of outlining, you hate to say these catastrophic things, but what happens if the whole thing goes belly up? I mean, most of us here, I think, are old enough to remember what happened in 2008. I mean, literally the world turned on end in a matter of, what, a month? And pretty soon everything that seemed obvious to us that would, okay, yeah, well, that'll eventually happen. It was not obvious that will eventually happen very quickly, right? And you have to continue to look at those scenarios that we just, if we build this house and don't have a road on the front yard, that's gonna be a problem, right? And there's also issues of sort of like what I would call painting us into a corner, right? You do this little lot here and this little lot here, and then the rest of the thing goes belly up. Well, maybe those 2 lots were the easiest low-hanging fruits, and now we have a development that's harder and harder to get done because it makes less and less financial sense as we sort of let that scope of what's being done creep, right? And it's death by 1,000 paper cuts sometimes, but I'd rather just not start on that path towards that where you just start to do the low-hanging fruit, and then you end up with a development that's full of more difficult lots to consider. Because when the things happen like what happened in 2008, that's what comes back to you, is those harder to do developments, and that's not going to be a good scenario for sure. So just wanted to throw out that is, we don't think that it's important to look at this request in terms of what has been done or will be done out there in 2 weeks. We understand what the ask is, and we just simply disagree.
Any questions, council, staff? I think, this has been on the agenda a couple times and at the last minute pulled. We've worked with this developer on the other additions to make some, things that we'll be willing to work with them on. So I think we've been very easy to work with at this point. Hopefully they can get what needs to be done here finished here before the fall and move forward, because it's a great development out there, and we appreciate their willingness to invest in the city. But you know, I understand staff's concerns.
Yeah, were you referring to Administrator Stotts? I was standing at the time, and there was some big developments with, you know, that never got completed. Maybe they are now, but they certainly weren't there for years. So I would agree. I think, you know, as a council and as staff, I know that we've worked hard with this developer to accommodate their requests, but I tend to agree with staff on this one that it doesn't make sense. They need to follow through on the development agreement that we've got in place.
With that, anyone want to make a motion?
I make a motion to move to deny the amendment request.
A motion, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And that's been denied. Okay. 8C, median refresh, change order number 1, Dave.
Yeah, Mayor and Council, last council meeting, we approved phase 1 of the median refresh project. And after that approval, the beautification group, Mayor Roberts and myself met with the contractor to discuss the plantings. It was kind of brought up that we'd like some more color, longer in the year, and just change some plants around. So the discussion kind of went around changing out the Walker's low grow with rudbeckia, and then the daylilies with hydrangeas. So the contractor did some repricing and how many plants fit in those areas, and it ended up to be a reduction of $557.29. And then with that change order would be accepting that change order for the reduced costs and then changing those 2 plant species out. So what I'm looking for tonight is approval of that change order to accept the decrease in costs and then accept that plant change.
I'll just add a little bit. So in just conversations with the beautification committee and my experience in landscape, and that's what I do as a job, the idea was when we chose these species, the original species, they were based on what survived from 15 years ago or 10 years ago. And although they did survive, the concern was that other than maybe just a couple weeks during the year, they just didn't look that good. And so working with the beautification committee, we came up with some alternatives that are going to have just more color, longer lasting throughout the season. And so that's where it went. And who would have known that we actually saved $500 on the deal? So that's pretty rare. So I appreciate the contractor's willingness to work with us and make that change kind of last minute. So that was great. And it sounds like that didn't delay the project, and it's still going to start on the 15th or thereabouts. Dave, is that correct?
Correct. He checked with the grower, and they have all the plants in stock for that change order.
All right. Any questions? Anyone want to make a motion on this?
I'd like to make a motion to save some money, so I'll move to approve change order number 1 of the median refresh project phase 1 to replace the previously selected plantings of Walker's low catmint with rudbeckia and daylilies with little lime punch hydrangeas, which reduces the project cost by $557.29.
We have a motion, is there a second?
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, 8C, Veterans Memorial change order. Dave?
Yeah, so the project that got approved, I believe the first meeting in August, it went with a capstone that matched the rest of the stone in that project. And the Veterans Memorial Group had envisioned that there was gonna be different colors. So when the contractor got that bid, they realized that it's a different cost and a different, capstone and all that. So that change is about $7,500 for that change. Kyle met with the group, and they're pretty strongly favored that they wanted to have that different colored capstone. So that's why we're here tonight. Just to be aware, we're already underfunded for this project, and this $7,500 would also just be more to the negative on that project. But it's what they envisioned for that project, and we're just here tonight to see if you want to approve that change in the capstone or go with the one that was spec'd inside the project.
Questions, thoughts, council?
Just visually, what are we talking? Can you say more about what that capstone is and where that fits in the project?
You have two thoughts, right? I think when they designed it, the capstone being the same color between the capstone where the monument is and then on where the
wall.
pavers are. Correct, the wall are being the same color, kind of just blends in, and then the other stuff kind of pops out. The memorial group wants different colors just so that there's different colors or different contrast or whatever, however you wanna say that. I'm not a guy, I don't know the difference, to be completely honest with you, but they're pretty headstrong and they want that color change, and I guess it's a change order and it's an expense that they don't have the dollars for. So if we were to approve it, it would just be the city incurring those costs until they received more donations and were able to pay the city back on that.
Is that what they're doing? Are they doing any fundraising or anything like that for this at all, or?
So what they have in hand in our fund is what they've received so far. They have some promises or some other groups that say, I'm gonna give X amount of dollars over the next X amount of years. There are also some grant funding that Kyle's chasing through the state of Minnesota. I mean, at this point, they don't have the dollars to put that bronze memorial in there. I mean, it'll be, when it's done this year, that won't even have that memorial in the middle, just because they don't have that funding. So I believe I can't remember off the top of my head how much below they are already in funding, so it's a decision to make.
I thought the most recent deed grant was going towards that centerpiece.
We have two grants right now, one for $90,000 and one for $250,000, and the project itself is about 800-some thousand now. It began about 5 years ago, was about 300,000, and now it's just crept up. Every year that gone by, it's just kind of slowly increased, and we're getting close to $1 million project.
So this portion that they're asking for, this will be completed this fall?
Correct. So the contractor would have to order that and then place that capstone this fall. The plan would be, or the overall project is to get everything done this fall except for the memorial in the middle, or the statue that comes out of that center sculpture and then the main capstone. So, and then once they have funding, or once funding is available, they would purchase and put that in. I wish somebody from the memorial crew was here tonight, because like I said, I don't understand colors and I don't know what that means, but it was spec'd one color, and once they got how the stones came in, they definitely wanted a color change, and that would be a change order to the project.
Since we broke some ground on the replacing pipe, do we have until the next meeting for them to come present this, or to talk a little bit more in detail, or not?
I think the problem is that there's so many things that are back ordered already. I think some of the stone they already ordered was 12 weeks away, and that'll be getting placed right at you're getting right to that deadline where you can probably not mortar or glue stuff onto that sculpture.
I mean, I'm torn, because this is not compared to 800,000, it's not a significant amount of money, but it is more money that they don't have, which I guess I'd really be curious how they plan to cover that. But at the same time, you know, this is a monument we're doing once. You know, I'd rather see it get done the way that this group that's put so much time and energy into it, you know, I'd hate to see, I don't know, I guess I'd be in support of it. I don't have an answer for the money at this point, but, you know, $7,400 doesn't seem like that much in the big scheme of things.
Yeah, I agree. I don't, it doesn't seem like that much in the scheme of things, and I have faith that we will get plenty of more donations. I think there's a lot of support out there, and there's a lot of support that will still come.
I mean, at the end of the day, when the next $7,500 comes in, or what go to pay for this change orders, I mean, we will track that money coming in. It's more or less if the city wants to basically front that cash, that it's, you know, the money isn't in that memorial fund. Just like we approved that one in that first meeting, that they didn't have enough dollars to go forward with the project. We just kind of approved it saying, we'll carry the project until more donations come in. So if they feel strongly, I don't think it's a bad idea. I think it's more or less, the council has to be aware that they're putting up these dollars for that group for the time being until more donations come in.
Yeah, I guess I'm, you know, it is a small amount. Let's get it over the goal line here and get exactly what this, like, to your point, Councilman Erickson, they've worked hard at this, and that was next $7,400 comes right to the city, I guess, to pay that back, as opposed to the other things of the project that need to happen for the next year. So, anyone interested in making a motion on this?
I'll make a motion for option A, to approve the change order and to increase the overall cost of the Veterans Memorial Project to $7,425.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, 8D, Eureka Avenue Plan Specs and authorizing bid. Ryan.
Mayor, City Council, tonight we have in front of you the Eureka Avenue improvement projects with the request of approving plans and specifications and authorize that for bid. As you are aware, obviously the Eureka Avenue improvements will include full reconstruction of the streets and added pedestrian facilities, and at the PED crossing within the corridor, there will be a rectangular rapid flashing beacon, the yellow push button crossing. Also, there will be shoreline limestone overlooks, parking spaces added. So the combination of Rice Creek, City of Forest Lake, and DNR, there's other contributing factors into the project that are providing financing for the DNR overlooks and parking spaces along that corridor. The anticipated schedule for the project is as laid out in the memo. The schedule is dependent upon finalizing the roadway easement acquisition from the DNR for the portion of that roadway and the DNR property, where we're still waiting to obtain that easement and utility license agreement. Last coordination we've had with the state DNR is they anticipated something in October to get that from the DNR easement federal funding review completed. And then also with state aid review, we're expecting that approval next week, but then would move forward with bidding the project and the possible award at the October 13th meeting, obviously dependent on where we are with the DNR easement. So tonight we bring forward to keep the project moving in efforts to get the surcharge placed, that upon award, and that'd be October, November work, and then that we'd let that sit for 9 months. Heavy construction would start in 2026. We do have the specifications and the contract set up that the final wear course would be placed in 2027. With the tight construction schedule, we'd be placed within 26. And just making sure that if there's anything that needs to be dealt with prior to placing the wear course, we have a good weather come early spring of 27 before we place the wear course. So tonight, we're here to have the City Council approve plans and specs and authorize that for bid for the Eureka Avenue Improvement Project.
Thank you, Ryan. Council.
Mr. Mayor, I could just add quickly, notably, there's not any lighting associated with this project this time. I think Ryan and I discussed that, and we think it's okay to move forward without that element of the project here right now, and we'll add that in as appropriate later. We'll be bringing that back to you at the next work session, but we have a need to move this forward and keep the project schedule on. As you can see, it's gonna be tight just to get the surcharge on. Obviously, they can do that into the winter season a little bit, but another month even delay could really be a problem.
We would not want to be in a situation having to place surcharge material on frozen ground.
Right. And I know there's also a lot of question, I think, in the community, rightly so, about is it the right timing to do this project in 2026 versus maybe 2027, where we're gonna have 97 will be shut down again. In the summer of 26 at the same time this would be shut down. But I feel strongly that we should be bidding this out, testing the bidding climate, and making sure we can get this project done. With inflation the way it's been and the volatility of the markets, it'd be risky to just say we're punting this whole thing to 27 and then hope we can, remember, we have a fixed amount of money that we can use to pay for this project. And right now, if Ryan's estimates are okay and the market hasn't gone too crazy on us, we can do this project with really very little, if any, city dollars into it. Pushing this out a year risks us not being able to do that without city funds. And so it's a lot more nuanced than the public might want to digest sometimes when they get to the exit and they go, I can't go anywhere, this makes me mad. But there are reasons we're doing it this way and want to put it out there. So if the bids come back and aren't real great, we'll have a different conversation. But
I do want to just, minor correction there, just because some of this was a lot moving in progress. With the estimate right now, there is anticipated would require city funding because of the Great River Energy power line relocation, where they originally gave us an estimate of $150,000 in April 2024. Well, then when they actually went and put the agreement for us to execute together, they came back at $378,000. But then we argued that a little bit, and then they sent a revised agreement, and now we're standing at $307,000. So that's something that's went a different direction than our original conversations with them. So I just wanted to bring that up, that specifically right there. So we would still have to work through that agreement too.
Questions, thoughts, council?
Yeah, I mean, timing of it's tough, but I agree. I think we need to move forward with it. I use that road, pretty regularly these days, as many in Forest Lake are. But it's going to be just a tough summer. And if we wait another year and those numbers keep crawling up, it's going to be some unhappy people about that as well. So I guess I'd be in favor of moving forward with the approval of the plans and specs.
So do we, I don't know, question for both, either Mark or Ryan. I mean, let's say we tied this. I am a bit concerned about construction next year. I really, really am. I think that what's the biggest challenge that we're gonna have, as we did early on when we shut down 97, was all that traffic that went Hornsby to the south and Elm Crest and all that. They're gonna be able to get to Everton, but they're gonna be using all these neighborhood routes, which is gonna put some safety concerns, because those roads are not built to handle that kind of traffic with all that residential. So I am concerned about this project in 26. I'm just being honest. And if I mean, will this be completely closed? Will will Eureka be completely closed as well? So you have 97 completely closed, and you have Eureka, which is the main way people are using, one of the main ways people are using to get into town. To have both those closed, I'm just concerned about the pressure we're pushing on residential areas with all this traffic.
Yeah, certainly a fair concern. And we've looked at different ways and, asked the critical questions of MnDOT if there was any other way that we could do more work this winter, on 97 or this fall. And there, you know, I got an email back with about a dozen reasons we couldn't do it that way. I do think, in fairness to MnDOT, they did do their due diligence and looked hard at whether or not that could be done. If we could at least get to Fenway, that way Fenway would be the main reliever, and that's much more, there's not driveways onto Fenway, it's more of a collector road. But yeah, it just doesn't look like that's gonna be in play here. You know, we can do our best to try to minimize those impacts. We could, you know, work with the contractor in Eureka to see what time they need to start and trying to get 97 going earlier, but I hate to make any promises. There's gonna be a month or 2 or 3 there where it's gonna be, you know, both of those are gonna be shut down.
Mayor, City Council, I think one thing to think about too is when we did, the detour went live for the Highway 97 project, the first week of the project is when all that traffic was taking the gravel roads and around, right? And that's probably gonna happen that first week, but week 2, week 3, the traffic that's going down to the residential neighborhoods, if they're not going there because they live there or have a reason to go that particular area, they're gonna learn that this wasn't the way to go. And then they're gonna go find their other alternative route, which is probably gonna be Broadway, right? My concern, if we wait till 2027 to start this project, you got County Road 32. And if you drive that right now and you see how much traffic 32's taken, where were they really gonna go then until we're out of there? With the surcharge being 9 months, you're really not getting into Eureka until end of July, first week of August. So they're gonna have a substantial head start on us. They're gonna be able to start in May, whenever load restrictions are pulled. They should be able to get, you would think, through Fenway, right? I can't guarantee you that, but they should have some substantial headway on Highway 97 than they did this year, because we didn't start till second week or third week in June of the season, right? And that was the area they had the deep excavation and the muck, and that's why things are where they're at right now. They don't have that type of situation on the east side of the project, so that's just some more things to think about. Will Eureka Avenue last another summer? I just drove it again tonight, and I don't want to know what that road's gonna look like after this winter. Like, we might be out there anyways doing something, whether we like it or not. Maybe it's just emergency overlay or something, but longer you wait with that, there's more other things that are gonna compound. Obviously, costs aren't gonna go down, so those are just other things to think about in the big picture of everything else that's gonna happen in and around Eureka Avenue between now and 2028.
Any additional thoughts? So again, I guess the question is, we can authorize this, but we're not 100% committing ourselves to do something in '26, is that correct?
And at this point, it doesn't cost us anything really substantial to get the bid, right? See what it's telling us about the market and go from there.
All right, with that, anyone?
I'll make a motion that we approve the plans and specs and authorize a ad for bid for Eureka Avenue.
I'll second.
I have a motion, a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Number 9, staff updates. We've got a lot of staff here now, finally, so that's great. So maybe, Mark, with that, we'll just start with you, kind of different than normal, just to.
Yeah,
That's-
so, you know, great timing tonight. We had the headshots ahead of time, so everyone on the council got to meet Ellie, our new finance director, but welcome aboard Ellie Larkin, and she's already hit the ground running and has got a lot of great thoughts already, and is diving in head first. And we're excited to have her on board, so welcome Ellie to the dais. And then I think we'll ask Abby to introduce her new staff member.
Abby?
Oh, right now. I think just right before the meeting, I introduced you all to Stephen Gilmore, our new Assistant Community Development Director. Stephen's first day on the job, so it's still going to be quite a learning curve coming from Florida, but welcome him.
Yeah, welcome. All right, I know I'm kind of doing this in a, Jolene, why don't you go ahead? We'll start normal. We normally would.
Just want to remind council and the community that our budget survey is live, so please share our social media post about that. We've tripled our responses so far from last year, so we're up to 78 responses, but we know that our community has strong opinions on the budget, so share the post, spread the word, and ask our constituents to participate in the survey so we can have some good results to bring to the council at our workshop next week.
All right.
That's all I have.
Dave?
Just one update. Belt's grand reopening was scheduled for the 11th of September, this, I think, Thursday. That's gonna get postponed. They're moving along really well on the playground and the servicing, but there's no way they're gonna be done by this Thursday, so stay tuned. Kyle will get that rescheduled and everybody be made aware when that gets rescheduled. That's all I have.
Jolene, can we get some social media on that? Because I saw Senator Housley shared something today about it, so.
Just sending a message to Kyle to let me know the details tomorrow so I can get that updated.
Okay. Anything else, Abby, tonight?
Just a couple things. We do have still 2 vacancies, one in the community development, our planner position, and then also the building official position in Building Inspections Division. Active ongoing application submittal processes to garner cast a wider net with our candidate pool. I will be meeting with Jolene and Wendy, our new HR generalist, later this week to kind of talk about maybe other strategies we can employ in both of those recruitments. Also, it's kind of our, I think maybe mentioned this the last time, it's our kind of our push season of development, and so everybody's starting to fight weather. Currently, right now, we have 4 or 5 active residential plats and 1 commercial plat. Planning Commission does have a meeting this week, and then we have full meetings in October as well. So you're going to start to see some things coming forward before you with quite a number of developments that still want to get dirt moving this year. I think there's some that think that they might get some building permits even. That's still, the jury's still out on that, but definitely are going to have quite a bit of dirt moving around yet this fall in Forest Lake. So happy to answer any questions if you have any.
Questions? No, great. And welcome, Stephen, and Chief Newman.
One update. On Saturday, approximately 1,500 hours, Forest Lake Fire was called for a structure fire out down 235th on Hunters Hill. When crews arrived, they had a fully involved garage fire moving into the structure. Mutual aid was called in from Scandia, Hugo, Wyoming, Lindstrom, and Chisago City. Took about approximately 3 hours to bring the fire under control. There were no injuries and equipment ran great at that fire.
Great. Thank you to those other agencies for their help. Ryan, anything else?
Mayor, City Council, no further updates unless you have any questions.
Ellie, welcome.
No updates from finance, just excited to do more budget talk next session.
Great. Amanda,
No updates.
anything else? Mark?
Just a reminder, or let the public know that we're looking at October 25th, Saturday. It's a save the date right now. I still got a few more pieces to make sure that we can get a venue, perhaps a consultant to agree to that date, but it looks like that's lining up for staff and council, so I want everyone to put a block on their calendar for Saturday, October 25 for our council retreat.
Councilmember Willer?
No updates.
Councilmember Lento?
No updates.
Councilmember Larson?
As Abby said, just a reminder that Wednesday we do have a planning commission meeting starting at 6 o'clock.
Right. Councilmember Erickson?
Just one of a personal nature. Last Sunday, I was blessed to become a grandpa for the first time. So Lachlan, yeah, thank you. Lachlan Aaron Erickson was born at 11:40, coming in at 11 pounds, 2 ounces. So,
Congratulations.
Yeah, yep, he's a healthy one. So, thank you.
Don't really have anything other than I mentioned earlier, the groundbreaking at the Vets Memorial was a great event, and looking forward to that project to get kicked off. So, anything else, and looking for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I'll second.
Second, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. We're adjourned.
Go Vikings.